from KSAT 12. Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
An early morning shooting under investigation right now. 2 people shot, a shooter nowhere to be found. Katrina Weber has the latest on this scene just ahead.
Plus another day of travel chaos, this time including San Antonio. Dozens of flights already canceled. What to look out for coming up.
As COVID cases surge, some businesses are taking extra measures to make sure their staff and clients are safe. Coming up, what measures Geekdom is taking.
Good morning.
Welcome to the first Monday of 2022.
A very cold one, as you can see behind us. We started, so we're at about 34-ish right now in this area. We started about 27 degrees this morning.
So January starts with cold weather. Oh, well, there's a shock.
That's good.
Because December ended like it was a heat wave coming through here.
It did not feel like December, but at least now, January.
And look who's
like
back,
January.
Just in time for the cold.
Just in time. Yeah, 2022 starting off on a cold note. That is for sure. I think officially we're going to drop down to 26 here in San Antonio this morning, so that will be our low. But many places did drop down into the low 20s, if not teens, as you get into the hill country. Here are the numbers right now. We just jumped back up above freezing here in town, 34 degrees. But look at Kerrville, 24, 33 in New Braunfels. Kerrville just jumped up, 26. You're going to see these numbers rise pretty rapidly today with very dry air in place and some sunny skies. If you're looking for some warmer temperatures, we do get those by midweek, but we're going to have another couple cold mornings coming up. So just a heads up there. We may drop back down close to freezing tonight into tomorrow morning. As we look at the lows, I mentioned 26 here in San Antonio. Kerrville down to 18 this morning, 21 in Hondo, 23 in Pleasanton. It was 30 in Del Rio. So a lot of places dropping below that freezing mark this morning. Basically everybody. Pollen count is in. Surprisingly, with all those winds yesterday, Mountain Cedar actually dropped some, 6,150. It's still in the high category, though. Molds are still oddly high, too, 1,720. That's today's pollen count. Your forecast for today, we get up to about 46 by noontime. We're in the mid-50s this afternoon. By the late afternoon, light southerly winds start to kick in. It'll turn into a pretty nice day, but you will want the jackets again this evening and certainly again into tomorrow morning. We'll talk more about our forecast, which maybe, just maybe, includes a little bit of rain towards the end of the forecast. We'll have more on that coming up in just a few minutes, guys.
Thank you, Justin. And jacket, a very important part of your wardrobe this week. Looking at Highway 281 with TransSky, things are looking good there. Also at I-37 at Jones Avenue.
Need some sunglasses today because that sun is bright. See those long shadows? Has the sun coming in? Wow.
So sunglasses and a coat.
Sunglasses and a coat. When's that combination happened lately? It hasn't.
Not lately. Let's look at today's 9 at 9. The FDA is reportedly getting close to authorizing a third dose of the Pfizer COVID-19 shot for children ages 12 to 15. A booster dose is also expected to be approved for children as young as 5 with immune deficiencies. The booster could help ease the health threat faced by millions of students returning to classrooms Monday after a holiday break that saw daily coronavirus infections surge to record levels.
Dr. Anthony Fauci says the CDC may revise guidance again for asymptomatic COVID patients after getting some pushback. The agency could recommend that a person get a negative COVID test before ending isolation. The CDC has shortened the isolation period from 10 days to 5 and was not requiring a negative test.
It has been another frustrating holiday weekend for air travelers with more than 2,600 flight cancellations nationwide Sunday. Winter weather and the Omicron strain of COVID are to blame.
Heavy snow in Colorado is not helping search efforts following the devastating wildfire. 2 people still unaccounted for. Many residents are just now getting to see what's left of their homes. Officials say over 1,000 homes are burned to the ground.
At least 30 inmates are suffering from smoke inhalation after a fire broke out at a jail in downtown Baltimore. 3 inmates and a corrections officer were taken to the hospital. Officials say the fire was intentionally set, but they are not sure who did it or why.
AT&T and Verizon rejecting a request from the FAA to delay the rollout of their new 5G wireless services. The companies say they plan to start setting up later this week. The delay was due to a fear from transportation officials that 5G technology could interfere with airplane equipment. The cell phone companies say they can mitigate any potential issues.
2021 was a record year for Tesla. The electric car maker says it delivered 936,000 vehicles, up a whopping 87% from the year before. The auto company also announcing it sold a record 308,000 vehicles the final quarter of last year. One analyst calls the numbers jaw-dropping.
Spider-Man No Way Home snared its third straight weekend ground, grossing $52.7 million. That gave it a domestic total of $610 million, cracking the all-time top 10 in just 17 days.
The show will go on. Betty White died on New Year's Eve, but producers are going ahead with Betty White, A Celebration. The documentary on the remarkable performer's life and career will still play in theaters one night only, Monday, January 17th, on what would have been White's 100th birthday. Check fathomevents.com for locations. And that's today's 9 at 9. So real quick, we have an update to the 9 at 9. We had told you about the FDA. Well, they actually authorized a third dose of the Pfizer COVID-19 shot for children ages 12 to 15. So it's an update to the story that we had earlier.
Yeah, that just coming down a few minutes ago. So breaking news. Top stories this morning. 2 people are in the hospital and another is shaken up after an encounter with 2 gunmen.
San Antonio police say the victims were all inside a home on the northwest side when the gunmen showed up before 5 this morning.
Katrina Weber has the latest on this investigation.
Based on what police tell us, the attack at this home was no random crime. They say those gunmen stormed into the home asking for someone by name, and that is one of the people who was shot. They found both shooting victims, 2 men, inside the home in the 2100 block of Clower Street before 5 this morning. Outside, they found a third man, his hand in zip ties. He told officers he was awakened by the gunman pounding on the door and asking for someone by name. He says they tied him up and forced him outside, then went into the home and shot the 2 other men. The zip-tied man was able to run to a neighbor for help. The gunman also left before police arrived. The 2 shooting victims, according to police, suffered non-life-threatening injuries. One was shot in the back and the other in the shoulder. They were taken away in separate ambulances. Police say that the man who was zip-tied was too upset to offer them much of a description of those gunmen. The only thing that they know is that they left the home in a silver Jeep. Reporting from Public Safety Headquarters, Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
And other top stories we are following today, an update from police about a shooting on the city's west side.
This all unfolding around 12:30 this morning at Ingram Road and Northwestern, just outside Loop 410. San Antonio police say they were called to a car crash involving just one vehicle. That's where they found a man in his 30s with a gunshot wound. He was taken to the hospital in critical condition, and we're just learning that a person died in the hospital. No suspects have been named, and the investigation is continuing.
And San Antonio police are trying to piece together an overnight shooting that happened on the northeast side. Officers tell us that a 45-year-old woman pulled up next to them in her vehicle on Loop 410 near Starcrest. She told them someone in a brown vehicle opened fire at her vehicle, hitting her several times in the leg. That woman was taken to the hospital and is expected to be okay. Investigators are still looking for the shooter.
It is a story we've been talking about for weeks. It's been happening around the country since the start of the holidays. Flights being canceled or delayed due to the COVID-19 surge and inclement weather. And now we are seeing those effects right here at the San Antonio International Airport.
Around 20 flights have been canceled here locally. The majority of those are with Southwest Airlines. What is causing the flight cancellations locally is not clear right now. However, we do know the pattern of canceled flights across the country has been attributed to employees with the airlines calling out sick because of COVID-19.
And on top of the surge in Omicron cases, how about 10 inches of snow? That could fall in parts of the mid-Atlantic region from Virginia to southwestern or southeastern New Jersey, and it could all come floating down this morning. The storm is hitting just in time for the morning commute there.
The moral of the story here, double check your flight itinerary before you head to the airport, and don't forget your patience. Now to the coronavirus here at home. Starting today, Metro Health will be back to reporting COVID-19 cases in Bexar County. Recent data has been provided by the Department of State Health Services. The latest information shows that Bexar County had 733 new cases. 352 people were hospitalized, with 74 in the ICU and 30 on ventilators. So with Omicron cases climbing, some local businesses are making sure their staff and clients are feeling safe and offering COVID testing.
At Geekdom, it's a co-working space in downtown. Weekly testing is conducted by community labs.
Tiffany Huertas joins us live from Geekdom with more on this. Good morning, Tiffany.
Good morning, David and Stephanie. Here at Geekdom, Community Labs has been doing testing here from the very beginning since August 2020, and they never stop. Just take a look. People are here lined up this morning. They test 50 to 100 people here weekly. And joining us to talk more about this is Charles Wooden, CEO of Geekdom, and Sal Weber, CEO of Community Labs. Good morning.
Morning.
Talk to us first about how this is impacting Geekdom overall.
I mean, for us, with all the different changes and the different variants and stuff, it has kept our members safe and secure, and with the knowledge that they have the ability to come in, get some work done, and also see some family. So it's been a game changer for us and our members.
Especially now that people are coming back from vacation, and this is going to play a key role in the safety of all of this, right?
For sure. For the last 2 weeks, most people have been around seeing family and people that they haven't seen in a while, which has been great. But having the ability to come in, get tested, and have the knowledge that you're safe is so important to every one of us.
What other safety measures are you all taking here at Geekdom?
Well, specifically with the Omicron variant kind of populating across the country, we've reinstituted mask mandates throughout the space, but we're also just encouraging, social distancing where possible and all sorts of different things just to keep our members safe.
Awesome. And Sal, talk to us about what we will see in the next few weeks with more people coming back to work and going back to school. What trend have we seen in the past?
Well, our positivity rate is definitely up. Over the break, we saw over 20% positivity. We expect that to continue as schools come back this week, and so we're testing with schools. We're waiting on pins and needles to see how many positives come back this first week.
And this testing, it can detect what type of variant?
So we can detect the Omicron variant, Delta variant. We've got a very robust test. It's got 3 different targets, and we can find any of the variants that have been out so far.
So we've been live at schools before, here on GMSA at 9. Now we're live at a business. How many schools and businesses are you all working with here in San Antonio?
So we collected over 300 different campuses of businesses, schools across Bexar County, as far south as Laredo.
And a lot of people are still looking for those tests. People are searching everywhere to go and get tested. Talk to us about maybe a partnership with the city. How is that going?
Yeah, we partnered with the city last year. That when we stopped testing with the city in May of 2021, we've reached back out to the city to offer our capacity. We have over 40,000 tests per day that we could test, and so we've reached out to the city, and we're waiting to hear back from them.
Awesome. Last question. Talk to us about how this is going to impact Geekdom moving forward.
Yeah, for us, I mean, the ability for our members to continue to get tested is so important because these companies here, they're running businesses and they need to be able to make sure that they're able to meet with their members and their clients. And it is such a game changer, and we continue to support this and this partnership with Community Labs going forward because it's so important to our members.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We're going to hear from some people that are getting tested later on, and we'll have that for the noon show. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thank you, Tiffany.
It is now 9:11 and 34 degrees.
Nearly a year later, and the impact from the deadly Capitol attacks are still being felt. A look back at that day in history and what progress has been made to capture those involved.
And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers losing one of their players in the middle of the game. He just walked off. RJ Marquez has this story and more coming up in your morning headlines.
Welcome back. It's about 9:15 now, and in your morning headlines, severe weather hits Kentucky once again, and a tram car carrying more than 20 people gets stuck in midair in New Mexico.
Plus, one of the strangest scenes you will ever see on a football field after star wide receiver walks off the field in the middle of the game after basically melting down.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
RJ.
A mid-game meltdown here.
Have you ever seen that before?
I've never seen it. There was one instance I do remember, Randy Moss a few years back. He walked off the field at the end of the game when I think the Vikings still had a chance for like a Hail Mary, but never anything like with Antonio Brown. So, yeah, and I know we're going to discuss this later on, so we'll show you everyone the video and talk about it a little bit later on during sports. But let's begin, guys, with more severe weather in Kentucky, a state that's already been hit Obviously very hard there. Residents now cleaning up this morning after a tornado hit the southwest part of the state on New Year's Day. The National Weather Service in Paducah, Kentucky confirmed an EF2 tornado struck Hopkinsville Saturday morning. The New Year's Day twister was clocked with peak winds estimated at 115 miles per hour. Those strong winds left behind, you can see right there, twisted metal, all sorts of debris and damage. The governor of the state declared a state of emergency after flash flooding and widespread power outages. Residents obviously were hoping for a better start to the new year.
My gas pump, everything blew away. Inside, the roof caved in, whole water line, everything's busted. It's really a disaster behind the register right now.
It's heartbreaking, especially in this community here. It's a poor community, and I just hate seeing this here.
Yeah, tough news for those residents. And of course, that state is still reeling from those December tornadoes that killed 77 people last month. Okay, now to a near disaster in New Mexico. Take a look behind me. After more than 20 people had to be rescued from 2 tram cars, you can see them right there, that were stuck in midair during snowy weather. The group of restaurant employees were stuck on the tram cars for nearly 15 hours. They were riding the car around 10 p.m. Friday night when they came to an immediate stop on the way down from the Sandia Peak. They were forced to wait overnight for crews to begin their rescue. Crews ended up rappelling the passengers down off the cabin, then onto a helicopter. Employees say the hardest thing was to stay warm as rescue teams planned how to bring everyone down safely.
And we've been stuck once or twice due to some weather, and you just wait 15, 20 minutes, and that 15 minutes turned into a half hour. The half hour turned into an hour. We got real close and a lot of hugging and just making sure everyone was okay.
So officials said they had to shut down the tramway because of severe icing on the cable, but again, everyone was safe. I think I would have been a little bit more worried than just staying warm, being stuck on that tram overnight there on New Year's Day. Okay, so David, now to one of the most bizarre scenes in sports in a long time, guys. Tampa Bay wideout Antonio Brown, you see right behind me, is apparently retired after ripping off his jersey. You see that right there. Walking off the field during the Bucs game against the Jets. You see him throwing his gloves and everything. The former All-Pro player got upset on the sideline. You saw he took off his jersey pads, then threw his shirt and gloves into the stands at the Jets stadium. Teammates trying to calm him down. Obviously did not work, but before he ran off into the tunnel there, waving at the fans. And yeah, just a very bizarre scene there. So here's some reaction from quarterback Tom Brady and the Bucs head coach.
I think everybody should find, hopefully do what they can to help him in ways that he really needs it. And, we all love him. We care about him deeply. We want to see him be at his best, and, unfortunately won't be with our team.
He is no longer a Buck. All right, that's the end of the story. Let's talk about the guys that went out there and won the game.
So obviously Coach Arians there, a lot more direct than Tom Brady. Brady always knows the right things to say. But okay, so Brown obviously has had issues with the NFL before. He was actually in trouble earlier this season for violating league protocols with a fake vaccination card. And the Bucs actually came back to win this game. They were down by 14. You can see right there as Antonio Brown walked out there in the end of the third quarter. But just a strange scene. He apparently tried to Uber home from the stadium afterwards, and security was very confused as to what was going on. And so
tried to act like a fan.
Tried to act like a fan too. Yeah, it was just
a ride to the airport or something.
Yeah, just a bizarre scene. So we'll talk about this just a little bit more and maybe some of the ramifications, because this game actually did affect the Cowboys. The Bucs coming back to win it, but then we obviously know what happened with the Cowboys.
Yeah, we do.
So yeah, we'll talk here in a little bit.
Thank you, RJ.
Thanks, guys.
Speaking of the Cowboys, I don't know how that transitions to weather. I have no idea. I was trying to think of something.
We're not talking about the Aggies.
No, they didn't play.
That's what I'm saying.
We could talk about the Aggies, but we won't.
Let's not. Their offense wasn't very hot. Neither is the weather. I don't know.
The Cowboys or the Aggies?
Cowboys.
The Aggies' offense was pretty cool because they weren't even on the field.
They weren't even playing. We won't even get
How about that?
Poor Aggies. Let's leave the Aggies out of it.
Let's look across the country this morning. You guys mentioned some of those flight delays earlier. And part of what's going on there is we have a lot of snow on the East Coast, and that's causing some problems. And you can see where the snow is lining up now, New York down to the nation's capital. So pretty heavy snow, but it's a narrow corridor. And there's going to be some pretty decent totals there today. Not only that, there is a tornado watch box out ahead of this. So a nice line of storms. This will move off the East Coast today. It is moving pretty quickly, but you see the snow there south of Washington, just south of New York, places like Philly getting in on some snow this morning. There are winter storm warnings there along the East Coast. The rest of the country, pretty quiet, with the exception being the Pacific Northwest, where there's another system moving on board and there is rain and snow there. We have some freeze warnings in effect, or well, they were in effect. We're now above freezing. We saw those temperatures plummet last night. Across the country, it's pretty cold. -2 International Falls, 11 in Omaha, 17 in St. Louis, 25 Oklahoma City. So that cold air rushed across the country, and here across the state of Texas, still some places below freezing. Dallas at 32, 29, Waco 31, and Tyler 41 in Houston. South Texas has moved above freezing at this hour. If you were curious last night, by my math, and this is not exact, but about 13 hours below freezing in Kerrville, about 10 hours below freezing in Pleasanton and New Braunfels. San Antonio, at least at the airport, it's been about 9 hours below freezing. Outlying areas, it was probably longer. That can do a number on your plans. So just a heads up, that's a look at how many hours we were below that freezing mark. Now back up above at 34 with sunny skies. Dew point really low at 23 and a light northwesterly wind at about 3. Still at freezing Canyon Lake, 27 in Comfort, still 29 Kerrville. Now these numbers I think will pretty quickly jump above freezing here next couple of hours now that we have the sun out. The air is pretty dry. 32 in Hondo, 38 Uvalde, 34 in Carrizo Springs. I say pretty dry, it's really dry. Dew points are in the teens and 20s. That is, well, very dry. There you go, if not desert air. This dry air sticks around for a while. Now the question is, will we ever get any rain? It feels like it's been forever, right? We could use a little bit of rain. There's some in the forecast, but I'm not going to get too excited about it yet. First, I'll show you Thursday morning. We get another front through here. This front's dry, just brings gusty winds and a sort of reinforcing shot of some cooler air. By Saturday, models are hinting at maybe a few showers working in across our eastern counties. This is Saturday at 5 o'clock. Maybe again on Sunday as a little bit of energy passes through Texas. We'll see. I don't think there's going to be a ton of rain out of this. Right now, we're just putting in a 10% chance of rain. And there's nothing down the line that looks all that encouraging either. So things are going to stay pretty dry, I'm afraid. 46 noontime, we'll be up around 56 this afternoon. Clear skies in your extended forecast. We go 64 tomorrow, 72 Wednesday. There's that next front. May drop temperatures down close to freezing by Friday morning, but not a hard freeze, it looks like at this point. 56 Friday, and back near 70 by the weekend. More clouds, and there's that very, very small chance of a shower or two Saturday and Sunday, guys.
At least the weekend looks nice.
It will be warmer.
Yes. Thank you, Justin.
Mm-hmm. Still ahead on GMSA at 9, a special surprise for a woman battling cancer. How the Cowboys are involved. An emotional Cowboys game this Sunday, not just because the boys lost, but a cancer patient, Brandy Weaver, is a big-time fan who thought she was just going to watch the Cowboys game at Dave & Buster's, a little party.
The reality is so much better. KSAT's Lee Waldman was there as she got the surprise of a lifetime.
Let's go Cowboys! A private watch party with the best Cowboys fans she knows.
I've been a diehard Cowboys fan since I was a little girl, grew up watching them.
That's all Brandy Weaver thought this gathering inside of a Dave & Buster's private party room was, because that's what her good friend Eloise Hudson said it was.
How can I get her with her friends all together in one group? And I thought, well, to watch a Cowboys game.
Here we go, boys, let's go.
Definitely appropriate, especially given Brandy's love of QB Dak Prescott.
I believe his mom has breast cancer, and I do too, so I connect on that level with him.
What Brandy didn't know is Eloise made up a contest that KSAT sponsored, and we played along. Eloise had something special in store for Brandy.
What's up, Brandy? It's Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys, and got wind that you just had your 40th birthday, so I wanted to wish you a happy belated birthday. But more importantly, heard about the fighter you are.
He mentioned my name, wished me well.
But there was more.
And here's a check that's going to cover your deductible for the year of 2022.
$1,500 presented by Aaron Erkelin, Executive Director of ThriveWell, a nonprofit that supports cancer fighters like Brandy. Since 2017, Brandy has been battling breast cancer. She's only spent 9 months in remission. However, her last diagnosis is her hardest.
My new life is that it is stage 4. It's in my bones, my brain, my pancreas, and my liver.
It's a day-by-day battle, but it's made easier through support from family, friends, and the Cowboys, especially Dak Prescott.
Wish you the best. Tell you to continue to keep fighting, being strong.
This made my day, made my month, made my week.
Did it make your new year?
Oh, made my new year, yes.
That's where you go. Doesn't matter if you win or lose. Doesn't matter what happens on the field.
Yeah.
For a guy like Dak Prescott to take a moment and do that and just make her year.
Yes,
as she said.
And we look forward to her going to Disney World in
great.
March. Yeah.
We would have liked for them to win, but
maybe next game.
Maybe so. That's the best part right there. A lot more ahead on GMSA at 9.
So speaking of the Cowboys, a look back at last night's game and your other sports headlines.
And a look at the progress being made a year after the deadly attacks on the nation's capital, coming up in the next half hour.
It was nearly a year ago that this surreal scene played out in Washington, a violent mob of protesters storming the U.S. Capitol.
As we approach the anniversary of the insurrection, a new ABC's news poll, along with Ipsos, shows that more than 70% of Americans believe that riot was a threat to our democracy. ABC's Inez de la Catera takes a look back.
It's been described as the worst attack on American democracy since the Civil War. 1 year ago this week, thousands of pro-Trump protesters storming the U.S. Capitol, just as lawmakers were starting to certify the presidential election results and Joe Biden's Electoral College victory. The violent mob injuring dozens of police officers with poles and pipes, smashing through windows and scaling walls, even amid clouds of tear gas. Once inside, the January 6 rioters threatening to do harm to Vice President Mike Pence and House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, among others. Some breaking into the speaker's office, this man taking her podium, while another put his feet up on her desk.
What's the purpose of storming Congress itself?
Because they work for us. They don't get to steal it from us.
Members of Congress barricading themselves inside the chamber where the electoral vote count was unfolding. Officers drawing their guns to keep rioters out. Ashley Babbitt, one member of the mob, shot and killed by an officer as she tried to enter the speaker's lobby through a shattered window where lawmakers had fled.
I picked up a baseball bat. That's all I had to protect myself.
I was there that day covering the insurrection for ABC Radio from outside. Protesters even taking aim at the media, those of us covering the events having to be escorted by security.
Within the first 5 minutes of getting here, I saw a man in a stretcher being loaded into an ambulance. Smaller group of men, kind of all dressed in black, kind of marching towards the Capitol and chanting things like, or yelling. They saw that where the press was gathered and kind of yelled out at the press, where can we sign up to shoot people?
Many rioters claiming they were incited by former President Trump, who for weeks falsely claimed the election had been stolen from it.
We're going to walk down to the Capitol because you'll never take back our country with weakness. You have to show strength and you have to be strong.
A total of 5 people losing their lives during or after the insurrection, 3 protesters and 2 police officers. Approximately 140 officers wounded that day and roughly $1.5 million worth of damage done to the building, the symbol of American democracy. Following the Capitol attack, former President Trump impeached and acquitted a second time, and more than 700 accused rioters charged, 55 sentenced so far, at least 23 of them receiving jail time. Authorities pouring through photos and videos from that day, and a House Select Committee was formed to investigate who was behind the attack. Inez de la Catera, ABC News, Washington.
Taking a look outside with live cam. We're at 36 degrees. It's still cold out there, but gosh, we started today in the 20s.
Look at that sky. Not a cloud in the sky that I can see. I don't know. Can you see any over there, Justin? You're the weather guy. Can you see a cloud?
Didn't see any there. Nope, think we're good. That's about as blue as it gets. Blue skies today. It is going to be nice, and we've already gained about 10 degrees just because the sun comes up, got really dry air, and you see those sort of rapid fluctuations in temperature in those conditions. So we'll get it up into the mid-50s today, but this morning it was down to 26 at the airport. Outlying areas around San Antonio, there was a lot of low 20s showing up on the map. 24 Randolph, 24 Port SA, did get down to 21 Bernie Stage, and teens around Kerrville, 18 there to be exact. Fredericksburg, same story. The entire area below freezing this morning. That's why those freeze warnings were in effect. Right now, we've, again, already started to see those temperatures really rebound. 34 degrees at the airport, 38 Del Rio, 40 in Cotulla. And you'll see some of those numbers, which are pink. Those are the ones that are below freezing. They'll jump above freezing here very, very soon. Pollen count, if you missed it earlier, we'll share it with you again. Mountain Cedar's at 6,150. Mold's 1,720. Mountain Cedar did actually come down a little bit, surprisingly, despite those gusty winds yesterday. 56, your high temperature, sunny skies today, light southerly winds by the afternoon. Should turn into a nice day. We've got a warm up over the next couple days. We'll have more on that. Your 7-day forecast, too, coming up here in just a few minutes, guys.
Sounds good. Thank you, Justin. And the new year did not get off to a good start for our Cowboys and for our poor San Antonio Spurs. Both lose tough games to kick off 2022. So David now joins RJ to break down all the sports weekend. I mean, these are my favorite teams. You might as well just make fun of the Longhorns while you're at it.
Oh, well, we can do that.
We did a lot of that during the season.
Yeah.
Who knows?
So,
they are going to the SEC, so
she sent me over here. She said, if you're gonna go crazy, you get over there. Don't be standing next to me. So, although the Longhorns picked up another top recruit the other day.
Was it? I thought A&M did.
And A&M did too.
Yeah. I know A&M. I know Justin's paying attention to that stuff.
They didn't play this year, so we're not talking about A&M either. Let's start with the Cowboys. Let's get to that, shall we? What happened there yesterday?
Football coverage powered by Davis Law Firm.
All right, Cowboys taking on the Cardinals here, and Kyler Murray, the Dallas area native, hitting Antoine Wesley right there. David, I know you're excited. This is a Texas Tech guy.
Well, he's a San Antonio guy.
Alum. Yes.
And he's a Texas Tech guy. Well, how about that? For double trouble.
Yeah.
Now this is sad right here. This is a great catch, touchdown, gone for the season, torn ACL.
Yeah, that's what owner Jerry Jones announced after the game. Michael Gallup, again, a great catch there to get the Cowboys back in this game after another slow start, and then here we go. Antoine Wesley again, David, coming through here.
Antoine Wesley, right?
Yes.
Texas Tech guy, San Antonio guy? Yeah.
Texas Tech guy, yeah.
That guy. Had a way to go. And then there's a touchdown from the Cowboys. And, after the game, they were complaining about the referees. So they couldn't get in a rhythm because the referees are throwing so many flags. And defense was complaining about referees couldn't let them play. And offense was complaining about referees. There's
Amari Cooper.
Cooper touchdown. And the problem is, the referees did not fumble the ball. The Cowboys did. And that's a big play right there. See, they're upset and you guys are the ones that called all timeouts and couldn't stop the clock, couldn't challenge that because you have no timeouts left.
That's right. Yeah, Coach McCarthy did not have a timeout because they had to take one earlier in the game when Arizona put their kicker in and Kyler Murray in that fourth down play. Basically a trick to get Dallas to use a timeout. It worked. Yeah. And again, Cowboys could not challenge this fumble. Probably should have been a fumble there.
It was a fumble. If you go back and look at it, I thought it was a fumble. But Dak Prescott also fumbled.
He did.
And that was one of those late fourth quarter drives. And I believe that's what cost them the game because they ran out of time. And so they spent, however many minutes on that drive and then they fumbled. And so, congratulations to the Cardinals and Cliff Kingsbury, former Texas Tech head coach.
And New Braunfels native. There you go. Yeah, Cliff Kingsbury.
See, we're back to San Antonio and Texas Tech. We love those combinations.
Yeah, so Cowboys lose this game 25-22. They are now in the fourth seed in the NFC playoff picture. And it looks like they're going to pretty much stay there.
They went from 2 to 4.
I know. They went from possibly
Rams didn't help them out because, the Rams are almost lost yesterday, but they couldn't get any help at the end from who are they playing? Oh, they're playing the Baltimore.
Yeah, they beat Baltimore. And then the other team, obviously Tampa Bay, who we're going to talk about here, came back and beat the Jets. So
look at this.
The two teams
that's Saturday, 7:15. I think we got a strange schedule because it's
that game is on KSAT 12, as a matter of fact.
Oh,
it is.
You know what? The early game is former Texas Tech quarterback and Kansas City Chiefs will be playing the early game against Denver on Saturday on ABC.
Tech talk.
It's
y'all won a bowl
Patrick
game
Mahomes. And Dallas and Philadelphia at 7:15. Yeah, we won a bowl game.
There we go.
Yeah, we played our bowl game and we won it. Yeah. Look at Justin over there. Okay, where are we now?
Yeah, and so it'll be interesting to see if the Cowboys do play their stars next week. It seems like they are locked into that fourth seed in the NFC.
Let's get to Antonio Brown. A lot of people are making fun of him. On the other side of the coin, you gotta kind of feel for him, and you got to wonder if there's really something going on with this guy, and maybe the NFL should step up and talk to him and see if there's a condition that he has that he needs some help.
I think that's something that Tom Brady even kind of talked about during the post-game presser, where he said, you know what, and because Brady knows Antonio Brown they played in New England for a little bit. Brown had a meltdown there, got in all sorts of off-field trouble, and we saw the fake vaccination card this year. So, this is not normal by any means. Apparently, he he told the staff that he was feeling injured. Staff wanted him to go in, and then they kind of went back and forth. He got hit on the sideline.
Yeah, Bruce Arians tried to get him to go in twice.
Yeah.
And that's what kind of got Bruce Arians all upset. But I think the NFL needs to step in here and check and see if there's something they can do for this guy, if there's something really wrong with him.
Just very bizarre behavior.
Yeah.
So, definitely something to kind of look out for. David, I know we were going to talk Spurs here. Well, Becky Hammon, I think we hadn't really touched on that between the two of us.
Congratulations to Becky Hammon. She is now the head coach of the WNBA Las Vegas Aces, the former San Antonio Stars.
Yes.
So there's another connection.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it all works. It's all connected. So she decided she wanted to go ahead and take that head coaching job. You got to wonder if her and Pop maybe had a serious conversation.
That's the question. Is now Pop sticking around for an extra year or two? There were reports earlier this year that Pop this might be his last year if he got the coaching record, the record for wins. So we'll see what happens there. But Becky will stay through the rest of the year.
And she's been up for several NBA jobs, and you got to wonder if maybe some of the conversation was if you had some sort of head coaching experience, maybe that would help you get an NBA job. So she's going to go get some head coaching experience now. So you never know where this can lead to her. But how long can you sit around and wait? I mean, this is her 8th season with the Spurs.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, is Pop going to stick around?
Yeah.
I got a feeling Pop said, I'm going to be here another couple of years, so go get you some head coaching experience, so then when it comes another opportunity, you're there.
I think just being able to build a roster, make decisions on your own, that will go a long way. And I could still imagine her coming back to the NBA. That's what the guys even said.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
She's got the experience now.
Get a little head coaching experience, and she'll be ready for the NBA. She's only 44.
Oh, yeah.
So she's got plenty of time. Now, here's the other problem, though. The Spurs are on the 7-game road
the Spurs.
trip.
Let's talk about the team.
They lost Doug McDermott, and they lost Lonnie Walker to COVID protocol.
They did.
So those guys are out. However, DeJounte Murray
should be back.
What's that thing they call that when
conditioning, reconditioning? Yeah.
I mean, how bad a shape can you be in if you just missed a week? I guess United basketball shape.
Yeah, reconditioning. He should be good to go for this game against Toronto. But we saw the highlights earlier. Bad loss against the Pistons the other night.
Did you see the end of the game? Did you see?
1 point.
Stop at the 1 point. Come on, Steph. A loss is a loss. You didn't see the end of it, though.
The Pistons didn't have 13 players.
So the guy goes around the top of the key and comes down to the baseline, and he passes the ball to the corner, goes right through Jakob Poeltl's legs.
When does that?
Who was the guy? I don't even remember these
Sadiq Bey.
Yeah. He shoots a 3 and bam, nailed it with 1.9 left on the clock.
All right, next time.
Spurs are up 2 and he hit a 3. Brutal. I'm going to sleep now.
Stephanie's like, we're moving on.
It's like 1 point.
All right, Steph, I'm coming back over there now.
All right. Well, I don't know. If you keep talking bad about the Spurs, you got to stay over there.
Wow.
Whoa.
I didn't talk bad about him. I just stated facts.
Or you
just lost.
Okay.
They lost.
Time is 9:44. We'll be talking with Justin when we get back. Hi, welcome back. It's 9:47, and it's still cold out there.
It's still a little chilly. Yeah, it's not too bad. It's nice to have some cold weather, though, because, it is
For January?
Yeah, it's like even had the fireplace going the other day, and,
It feels a little more right.
Yes.
I did take in my plants last night, some of those ones, the sensitive ones. You got to do that, it feels like every winter, but it took us a little bit longer to get there this year. And one thing, now that we're in 2022, this winter, I should say. But let's talk about rainfall. We've gone 16 consecutive days now without rain. Our last measurable rainfall was back on December 19th, and it was 0.05 of an inch. We got a little more rain on the day before that. But we've gone through sort of a dry stretch here. We could use some rain. And you look at the drought monitor, a lot of Texas is starting to deal with drought, and it really is beginning to creep back in here around San Antonio. Not in drought yet, specifically here in town, but as you go west, there are places, and these are the areas that have been sort of in a drought stage here over the last month or so. Carrizo Springs, Big Wells. And I imagine that this will continue to spread around the area unless we get some good rain in here. And looking at the models, there's not a lot there. And you look at the state of Texas this morning, absolutely nothing. Not even cloud cover. That front has cleared everything out. We're going to see some very dry conditions next couple days. I'll take you up to the Pacific Northwest, though. A lot of active weather here, a lot of very heavy snow for the mountains, and then rain along the coast and some wind there. And then we'll take you to the East Coast, kind of jumping around here. This is the other big system across the country. Heavy snow falling south of Washington, south of New York City. And this is going to cause some flight delays today. And then there was some severe weather earlier. That has since moved off the coast. That system will push east by the afternoon. Time lapse. We've had clear skies. There Obviously, the cold temperatures this morning. It kind of looks like winter there as you look at that scene. 34 degrees. Northwesterly winds at about 3. Dew point is at 23. The air is very, very dry. Temperatures right now, 32 Comfort, 31 in Kerrville, 30 in Bulverde. One of the last few spots here to be at or below freezing. Hondo at 32. 33 Randolph, 33 in New Braunfels. As we zoom out, some 40s now. Uvalde to Cristo Springs. So things are warming up. Now that the sun is up, dew points really low in the teens and 20s. And when the air is that dry, it tends to obviously cool down very quickly and then warm up very quickly. So we'll get temperatures back in the 50s later today. Dew point tracker, very, very dry air. We get a little bit of an increase in humidity. You won't feel it through Thursday. Then another front comes through that dries us out. And then by the weekend, then the dew points try to jump up a little bit. And that may lead to a shower or two. Although, as we mentioned earlier, we're not getting too excited here about rain chances. It doesn't look great. So I mentioned that front Thursday. It comes through Thursday morning. The one thing you'll notice with this is gusty winds. So the winds pick up Thursday afternoon. Then by the time we get into Saturday, moisture tries to move back in, and that could lead to a couple showers generally east of San Antonio. This is showing some showers, maybe a couple thunderstorms. San Antonio over towards Houston, Tyler, up to Texarkana. We'll see how it plays out. There's some upper level energy that moves through. Again, we're just not expecting a whole lot out of that. The forecast for the rest of today, 46 noontime, 52 by 2 o'clock, 55 by 4 p.m. We'll top out close to 56. Should be a pretty nice day, although tonight we'll get down close to freezing, maybe a little bit below. Again, 31. 64 Tuesday, 72 on Wednesday. Turns windy and cooler yet again Thursday. Make it another light freeze Friday morning. And then there are those very small rain chances both Saturday and Sunday. We'll be right back.
Morning, guys. Coming up on Live, Ralph Macchio joins us. We'll chat with the Karate Kid about his series Cobra Kai. See you soon right here on Live.
And we all depend on technology for work and for fun. And 2022 will bring in a new wave of gadgets. Tomorrow on GMSA, we're going to take a look at some of the hottest tech trends set to hit this year.
Did you just say you need to see Cobra Kai? Is that what you said?
Season 2. Yeah, it came out on Friday.
Was that Ralph Macchio?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay, it's good stuff. Okay.
56 today, 64 tomorrow, 72 Wednesday. So we get a warming trend here, but front comes through, cools us down again Thursday. Get a pretty warm weekend, maybe more cloud cover, maybe just a little bit of moisture.
And talk about snow. This is Washington, D.C. Whoa.
Wow.
Wow. I'll take the 70s.
Me
too. They can have that mess.
We're lucky over here.
Yeah, I think that's a vehicle from WJLA driving down the street and shooting some live stuff like we do with our vehicle. Hey, really, real quick, every year we always wear out phrases. And so who is this?
Michigan University.
Michigan University put out a list of phrases that we've worn out. You can't use anymore because of 2021. Wait, what? That's a phrase you can't use anymore.
No worries.
No, new normal. Can't say that anymore.
Circle back.
Oh, God. Yes, please get it. Deep dive.
Deep dive.
Can't say deep dive anymore, so you're going to have to come up with something else.
We're going to have to write all these down.
And asking for a friend.
Oh, yeah. I like that one.
See you tomorrow. Have a great Monday.